Welcome to the EXP Group, one of the leading providers of business training solutions. Please enjoy this presentation and visit us on the web at www.theexpgroup.com for more information.
Hello and welcome back to this EXP training video for ACCA Paper P3 Business Analysis. We are just coming to the end of Chapter 2 of the Express Notes, and just to spend a couple of minutes wrapping this up. We're looking at strategic groups. We are still within the environment, the analysing the environment stage, and we're going to have a look at strategic groups. As the notes say, a strategic group comprises companies within an industry that have similar characteristics or business models. Okay, so a strategic group is a group of companies that has similar characteristics. And the example we've got here, for example, the courier industry can be divided into different strategic groups. First of all, we have the global courier companies. So the big companies, the UPS, TNT, FedEx, DHL. Okay, so those are the global courier companies, relatively similar in what they do. The second strategic group would be national courier companies. So not international or not global, but national courier companies. And we could allocate those based on various variables such as size, geography served, and strategic approach. Now, why are we doing all this? Why are we analysing the industry into various strategic groups? Well, it kind of makes sense because it helps us to identify competitors. Identify competitors and how they compete, as well as identifying potential opportunities. Now, just before we come to the end of this chapter, I just want to go back up to the start of this chapter and just spend a couple of moments recapping. So, Chapter 2, the environment and competitive forces. Remember, what have we done during the last few videos? Well, we started with Pestel Analysis, also known as PEST or SLEPT analysis. This analyzes the macro environment. So we have political. Hopefully you can remember the E. Economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. Pestel analysis enables us to look at the macro environment that an organization is operating within. We then looked at Mr. Michael Porter and introduced Porter's Diamond. Porter's Diamond is also known as the competitive advantage of nations, and it analyzes why certain countries are strong at certain things. So, it's in the shape of a diamond, Porter's Diamond. Originally commissioned by Ronald Reagan to study the Japanese car industry and the reasons for their success. So we've looked at Pestel, we've looked at Porter's, we've also looked at Porter's 5 forces. Porter's 5 forces is another method of analysing the environment, this time more of the immediate environment around a business. And as hopefully you can remember, the 5 forces in there, we have substitute products, competitive rivalry, new entrants. And remember, what is important within new entrants? It's barriers to entry. We then got customers and suppliers. And as to the question, which one of those forces is most important? Well, as is the answer to a number of these questions in the syllabus, it depends. Within different scenarios, these forces will have a different level of importance. So, after Porter's 5 forces, we then had a quick look at the product life cycle. And again, hopefully you can remember 4 stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Now, within each of these 4 areas, you'll find different variables. So remember, we looked at the variables, the 4 Ps: product, price, place, and promotion, and each of those will vary within each stage of the product life cycle. And there we are. Just to conclude and to wrap up this chapter, we then had a quick look at strategic groups. The strategic groups is where we split the industry into groups that have similar characteristics. And the main reason for doing that is that it helps us to identify competitors, how they compete, as well as identifying potential opportunities. So, thank you for listening. That is chapter 2, and we will continue tomorrow with chapter 3.